What's up, you guys? In this video, I'm going to be discussing some changes coming to the UFC and what it can mean for you. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. It help a lot. And let's get right into the news and everything that's coming up as of today. So, as you can see in the article I have on the screen, this was dated in 2018. This is when the UFC first signed with ESPN for a 5-year deal to have their product on ESPN. And then in this article in 2019, early 2019, when after the UFC was already on ESPN, they extended their deal for 2 more years, and they added the pay-per-view streaming rights. So that brought the deal to end this year in 2025. Why is that important? Because this day on April 15th, 2025, the ESPN's exclusive negotiating rights with the ESPN is over. So that means the UFC can talk with any other programming networks such as Netflix, Prime Video, anything like that. As you can see by Happy Punch, their Twitter, they did a post talking about Netflix and Amazon are already ready to discuss with UFC, and that can be some big changes coming to us. I believe this is only going to apply to the people in the US. I believe they have other deals with other networks over there in different countries and everything. A big part of this is Dana White talking about that he is open to moving away from the pay-per-view model, which I think would be huge and beneficial, especially nowadays with how much people just stream a lot of the pay-per-views anyway, find illegal streams and everything. This would be big if they can just get a deal and have everything all on one platform and do away with the pay-per-view model. I'm sure their numbers have been down as much as lately, and yeah, the big thing is TKO, the company that owns ESPN and WWE, recently signed a deal to have WWE on Netflix for a 10-year deal for $5 billion. Crazy numbers, crazy amount. But the big thing with that is they already have that partnership with Netflix. I think it could be good. I think it'd be a really big deal if they can get to Netflix. I would prefer it that way. ESPN's kind of shit. They're like tons of problems on the app, always breaking, crashing down, everything like that. I think it was UFC 313 where they were having tons of issues. People buying it after they bought it, they couldn't watch it and everything. I think that was almost like perfect timing for the UFC. They can look at that and be like, hey, we don't want to work with you guys anymore. We can go somewhere else, somewhere more reliable. Another big thing is ESPN, when they first got the deal, it was for 5 years for 1.5 billion, so 300 million a year. There's been reports that the deal that they're looking for is likely $1 billion a year, so over 3 times what they're making just a year with the ESPN. I don't know if ESPN got the bread like that. If they do, good for them, but I don't know if they're going to be willing to shell out as much as a Netflix or especially like Amazon Prime or anything like that. Another big thing, I'm hoping for it if they just completely get rid of the pay-per-view model. WWE, I believe it's on Peacock. All their pay-per-views are airing on Peacock, like the CBS network. I can see them maybe doing something like that, splitting their, the fight nights and versus the pay-per-views. Ideally, it would be on one platform. Netflix seems like a good one, Prime a good one. But another option is maybe they keep the pay-per-views just on ESPN. The fight nights go to Netflix. The Contender Series stays on ESPN. Ultimate Fighter goes here, goes there. That is a situation that could be big as well. Hopefully it's something that we don't get, because that would just be terrible, I believe. It's kind of like when Bellator, there was like one day they would be here, one day they would be on HBO, one day they're on Showtime. It's like going all over the place. People want to find fights the easiest way: Netflix, Prime, Peacock, something to have everything on one platform. This deal, as I said, today, April 15th, marks the end of the exclusive rights they have with ESPN to talk. So now they're open. They can talk with anyone. At the end of this year, that's when the deal's up. So starting next year, 2026, is when by then we'll know who they're going to be with and where they're going to be streaming and everything. And yeah, so that's going to be the news coming up. UFC exclusive window is over as of today. Netflix and Amazon is ready to talk. That's good news. Me and Dana White is looking forward to. He's maybe not looking forward, but he's open to staying away from the pay-per-view model, which I think would be beneficial. Getting, like, you can see the numbers that Tyson and Paul did. I know a lot of people didn't like that fight, but Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, I think it was like 70 million views, which is crazy. Even if UFC fight pay-per-view gets half that, still 30 plus million people tuning in for a pay-per-view. Insane exposure, insane deals they can make on top of that. Another thing is the the UFC likes to do their own production. They don't like anyone else doing, like, touching their stuff. That was something that ESPN did. I think I saw also Dana White was talking about he was open to staying with the UFC if because he likes working with them. He likes that they're not messing with their stuff. So I can see them maybe sticking with ESPN. Ideally, that's not what they do. If they do, hopefully they do get rid of pay-per-view rights. But he did talk about I always like working with ESPN. They let me do my own thing pretty much. At least what I saw on the Netflix one when they were doing the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I think it was pretty much like Jake Paul doing his own production stuff, and then Netflix would just, okay, we're showing it here. That's it. Ideally, that would be what the next situation would be. And hopefully that's what goes forward. If there's any updates in the next few months, it's probably going to be a few months before anything's talked about. I'll be posting it here. So if you guys like MMA news and all that fun stuff, subscribe, like this video. Let me know, where do you guys want to see him go? Do you want to see him stick on ESPN? Don't hope for that, all right? Or do you want to see him go to Netflix, Prime, Peacock? Hell, I don't even know. TNT might be one as well. I don't know if you guys know too much about other sports, but with TNT, they lost their rights to the NBA, which is a big thing for them. So now they're probably going to have a lot more money to go if they want to make a big splash, jump into the fight game. We'll see if that's something they want to do. But yeah, next week, Prochess Scary's coming up. Stick around if you want to see some predictions on that. I'll make my picks most likely sometime next week. But big news coming for this. Again, I hope they go to Netflix at some point. I feel like not 90%, but like probably like at least 50% of people in the US have at least a subscription to Netflix, or someone in their household does. That can be huge for them, grow their brand even bigger. And yeah, so hopefully that's something that happens. I'll be interested in that. But yeah, if you guys like this video, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I appreciate you. And yeah, I'll do more news if we get something. If we find out where they're going, I'll do another reaction, breakdown, something like that. Anyway, thanks guys. Have a good day. Bye.